In today's video, I wanted to share a shift in how I was utilizing ChatGPT and how it's like really opened up a whole new world of creativity for me. So I recently took a workshop on ChatGPT that totally changed the way I thought about how I was using it. So in the workshop, she was like, use ChatGPT as your second brain. And to me, I was like, oh my God, like more processing power, right? I've been using it very utilitarianly. And that opened up like a whole new way for me to think about using Chat GPT literally as my second brain. So I, of course, was like, how do I use this to better work with how my brain works? Of course, there's lots of different ways that this perspective shift has opened up ways to use Chat GPT that I didn't think of before. However, in today's video, I wanted to share with you how it really opened up my creativity in the way that I'm feeding it all of my ideas, all my inspiration, all my random tangent thoughts. Before, of course, I fed it ideas and I asked for it to help me brainstorm and refine ideas. However, I was never feeding it unfiltered thoughts in the way that I'm utilizing it now. So now instead of like capturing random inspirations or ideas in Google Docs or like a voice memo, everything goes straight into ChatGPT when I have like a content idea or a thought that pops up that I want to flesh out. This not only allows me to kind of get my thoughts out in one place, but allows me to capture it in a more unfiltered way. So before, even with voice memos, like I would think of the idea, but then I would try to organize it in a way that I thought would make sense for whatever content piece I thought it might turn into, or, whatever it was. Like I always had a filter going between thoughts and putting it down in Google Docs or voice memoing it, even. Like I never just kind of had an unfiltered stream of whatever it was that my brain was thinking right then. Like I never had put down content or ideas in that truly unfiltered manner. But using ChatGPT this way, so I use the voice to text option in ChatGPT. There is a voice to voice thing, but I haven't really explored that as much. For me, and to get my ideas out, I don't want it talking back to me. I just want to be able to like basically just stream my ideas, stream my brain straight into chat. And I do that through the voice to text feature. So messy, unorganized thoughts. And then I can work with ChatGPT to help me summarize those thoughts, help me mold them into topics or content or whatever I wish to do with those particular ideas, right? Like I can once I get it in and it's a messy, unfiltered way, I can use chat to help me refine that. So it's literally like, oh, that's my second brain. And it's amazing how that small tweak really has opened up such a more natural way for me to process all my ideas. Not only does it allow me to capture ideas in a new way, but it allows me to work more with how my brain naturally works. Now, what I'm going to share, like if you have a more maybe neurotypical brain or, whatever, like maybe your brain doesn't work like this, but my brain has kind of squirrel brain tendencies. So I can be working on something and I can literally think of 10 tangent topics on that thing. Or if somebody asks me a question, I can think of 10 ways to answer the question, or I can think of like 10 other rabbit holes to go down in relation to a topic that I might be talking about with one person. And I've adapted to that over the years and have like, different coping mechanisms and stuff. However, I've really been leaning into and exploring in the past year or so, like, and this is also kind of what the membership is about that I recently started is like, how can I work better with how I naturally work? So when I'm refining like a piece of content in Google Docs, for example, I often will be working on that. And then all of a sudden I will have other ideas about kind of tangent topics related to the one I'm working on. And this is where I want to explain just for a minute how my brain works is it's not just an idea, right? Like I can have an idea. For instance, when I was working on this, I got the idea was like, could you use Chat GPT to kind of like help you deal with intrusive thoughts? Maybe, but my brain didn't go there. So that was just a thought. It passes through. It wasn't one that my brain latched onto. However, I can be working on a topic and my brain suddenly, it's like you're driving. And then all of a sudden, I find myself like on the side of the road and I'm staring at this like new thing, this new place. And my brain has went into that topic. Like it has a lot of thoughts and a lot of things to say about that particular topic. So prior to me discovering this new way to use chat, is I would have to make the decision of being like, go back, focus on the topic you're doing, or make the decision, okay, I'm going to open another Google Doc. I need to document what I'm saying. Like I'm having trouble getting my thoughts out because I'm also still thinking about the other thing I was working on. So instead of having to kind of have that detour and have those thoughts, either forcing myself back onto topic or allowing myself to kind of explore this other topic, I'm allowing myself to explore the other topic. But what I do is I keep my phone just right next to my computer, and then I just use the talk. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the talk to text feature, it's right there. And I literally just brainstorm whatever that thought is. I just word vomit it out into chat. And then I just come back to my topic and I don't worry about refining. I don't worry about, did it make any freaking sense? I just go right back to what I was working on. And that has been such a relief to my brain and how my brain naturally works, because I can explore that topic. I can get it out of my brain and then I can refocus. And it's just so much easier for me. And it's been a real game changer in my creative flow. I will say, though, if you want to use it this way, you probably do have to get the pro plan on ChatGPT. Of course, you can use Claude or any of the other large language modules as well. I've just chosen Chat because that's what I've been working with. One of the reasons you probably do need the pro plan with Chat is to create folders so you can organize your ideas, as well as you most likely would need the expanded chat capacity. The folder thing is really important because if you're really going to embrace this method and if you have a lot of thoughts, you need a way to organize that. You do need a process to organize it and clean up your chat periodically. I honestly, if you're really using it as your second brain, I recommend that you do it at the end of each day. Of course, you can do it at your own rhythm. And what that looks like for me is that I look through all the chats I've created that day. I will move them into their topic folders if they need to be or warranted to move into their topic folders wherever it fits. Sometimes I'll archive chats because, it wasn't really like a real idea. It was just kind of me blowing off brainstem, I guess. Like it was an idea, but it wasn't really that fleshed out. There's no need for me to save that chat. So I'll just archive that chat. And then sometimes I'll go ahead and pop that idea, that particular chat link into my content management system because it's pretty fleshed out. And I definitely know like I want to go down that rabbit hole sooner than later and work on refining that. And then sometimes I know I already have a larger chat thread dedicated to this particular topic because I just have a tendency to have lots of ideas on, repeating topics. So sometimes I consciously already know that I have a topic started on that, and I'll just cut and paste that idea into the existing chat, depending on where the idea development has got to. So that's the way I kind of approach it. Just at the end of the day, it's like filing for later and topics, deleting or putting into my other process for processing that idea into content or whatever it is. It is an important step to, if you're going to embrace this idea of how I'm using chat and just voice memoing things into chat, you do need to organize it to make it useful. But I would love to know if you give it a try. So definitely pop a comment in if you decide to try this for yourself and see how it might help you work better with how your brain maybe naturally works. You can also join my newsletter for more tips and tricks to make your business and life run smoother by learning to work how you work best in all things. You can find a link to join the newsletter below, or you can join my new membership, which is the Bloom Hustle Grow Universe. And it's all about exploring all things you, your wants, your needs, and how you operate best and applying that to your whole damn life. No more following other people's blueprints, rules, or structures when it comes to how you operate in your business and everyday life. If you want to start exploring that, you can find a link below for that as well. Okay, again, if you give this a try, let me know.